Ladies, gentlemen, I have breaking news for you. All the people that they had dragged into slavery in the Caribbean, in the United States, across Europe, all of them are the true descendants of Abraham. All of them are the true Israelites. Let's start reading Jeremiah 5, verse 19. God told Jeremiah, when the people start crying or start singing, we shall overcome, I can't breathe, Black Lives Matter, why has the Lord done all this to us? God told Jeremiah to give us the answer. And we find the answer in Jeremiah 5:19. God said, when as we offended him by serving foreign gods, now we are going to serve foreigners in a land that's not our own. Okay? God said we would end up serving foreigners in countries that is not our own. Why? Because this is not the country where we came from. Okay? That means before they brought the slaves into those countries, the United States, the Caribbean, elsewhere in Europe, they used to live somewhere. They used to be a people somewhere. Okay? Now God promised the Israelites in Deuteronomy 28, right before they entered the promised land, that if they obey God and follow his laws, God was going to bless them. But if they disobeyed God, God was going to remove them from the land of Israel. God was going to deport them, get rid of them, just as he got rid of the Canaanite that used to live there before Israel. Okay, so as predicted in the year 721 before Christ, the kingdom of Israel was deported by the Assyrian, and since then they have never returned. The kingdom of Judah, on the other hand, was deported away by the Roman Empire in the year 70 after Christ. That was the last time the kingdom of Judah was deported, because the kingdom of Judah was deported 3 different times. The last time was year 70 after Jesus Christ. Okay? Since then, all 12 tribes have been unaccounted for to this day. Okay? Even though some people think 2 of the 12 tribes have returned, I'm going to show you that all 12 tribes are still unaccounted for. Now let me show you how we know that the Israelites is a black nation. Israel is a black nation. We're going to give you 2 simple examples using knowledge that you already have. We don't have time to give you the more complicated ones in this video. First, Jacob had 12 sons. 11 of them married Canaanite women. And we know from knowledge that the Canaanites were black. Canaan was a black nation. Okay? 11 of Jacob's 12 sons married 11 Canaanite women. Joseph, on the other hand, married an Egyptian woman while he was prime minister in Egypt. um, there you have it that all 12 sons of Jacob married 12 black women. When Jacob discovered that Joseph was still alive and living in Egypt and was the prime minister, Jacob took all of his family, um, moved to Egypt to live with Joseph. The Bible says there were in a total of 70 people. All 70 of them were 70 black people. When the Israelites were ready to leave Egypt under the leadership of Moses, the Bible says there were a total of 2 million people. All 2 million of them were 2 million men, women, and children of black people. That's example one. Second example, when the Israelites were ready to enter the land of Canaan, the promised land, Moses chose 12 spies to explore the land of Canaan. The Bible says the spies spent 40 days exploring Canaan without being detected. The reason it was easy for them to walk through the land for 40 days undetected is because the Canaanite, being a black nation, and the Israelis, being a black community at the time, it was easy for the spies to mingle, to mix with the Canaanite unnoticedly. There we give you two quick examples that shows that the Israelis is a black nation. Now you may ask, if the Israelis are supposed to be a black nation, how come today we have Hasidic Jews, we have a white Israel in Palestine right now, and in Brooklyn, and in other parts of the country and the world, we have Israelis known as a white nation. What happened is those people are Europeans who converted into Judaism in the 15th century. Their ancestors converted into Judaism, and since then, from generation to generation, they continue to follow the sect of Judah. Now you may ask, if they were converted into the religion of Judaism, and then the real descendant of Abraham, the real Jews are supposed to be black, how come there's no black among them? How come everything right now that Judaism related are in their hands? What made it possible was the slave trade. It was easy for those government to kick out the black Jews, the real descendant of Abraham, from those European countries, and then lo and behold, all the black Judaism members left, and everything stayed in the hand of those new converts. That was a plan, that was a plot. Now, I can show you that Abraham himself has no ties, no family ties with the Jews that we know today. If you look at Genesis chapter 11, verse 10 through 26, the Bible gives us the genealogy of Abraham. You will see that Abraham came from the line of Shem. Who was Shem? After the flood, only 8 people survived. It was Noah and Noah's wife, and Noah's 3 sons and their wives. You will see the name of Noah's 3 sons were Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Genesis 11 show you that Abraham came from the line of Shem. Meanwhile, all white individual and all white nations came from the line of Japheth. In Genesis 10:2, the Bible gives us the sons of Japheth. The first son of Japheth, Gomer. Okay? In verse 3, the Bible says, the son of Gomer, Ashkenaz. Now, the Jews that you see in Israel, in Brooklyn, and everywhere else in the world, they are Ashkenazi Jews. They come from Gomer, first son of Gomer, Ashkenaz. They're Ashkenazic Jews or Sephardic Jews. Okay? That it's clear that they're not even on the same genealogical line as Abraham. As you can see, they come from a total different genealogical line as far as Abraham is concerned. If you remember, in Genesis, when it was time for Israel to enter the Promised Land, the Bible tells us the first nation that Israel, the true descendant of Abraham, when they were entering the Promised Land, this black nation, with the leadership of this time Joshua, because Moses died, did not enter with them. Now Joshua, they were ready to fight, ready to enter. Under the leadership of Joshua, who replaced Moses, the very first nation that they beat was Gog and Magog. We just read that the first son of Japheth, Gomer, and first son of Gomer, Ashkenaz. Gomer is Gog and Magog. This is the Gog and Magog that Israel had to defeat as the first nation that Israel defeat to enter the Promised Land. That's a nation that God crossed out. Okay? This is a nation that God get rid of for the kind of sins that they used to commit. In fact, God told Israel, if you go and make the same sin as them, I will also get rid of you. So today, we have a lot of churches, a lot of church leaders, a lot of Christians that every year either send money or go into pilgrimage in Israel, not knowing that they're going in there worshiping Gog and Magog. They think they're going to see Jewish people. Well, you're not going to see Jewish people. You're going to see Gog and Magog, because that's what's running Israel right now. Today, Gog and Magog took their revenge against Israel. Right now, they sit on the throne of Israel and calling themselves Jews, when they have no connection, no family ties, no genealogical ties, no biological ties with Abraham. Okay? Now, God warned the people that if you don't do God's will, in Deuteronomy chapter 28, God gave Moses a list of blessings and a list of curses to give to the people. God told them, if you follow my rules, if you obey me, if you obey my laws, then you are going to be blessed. But if you reject me, if you disobey me, you're going to be cursed. And God showed them what the curse, what the list in Deuteronomy 28, starting from verse 15 all the way to 68, God showed them, here's the list of cursed that was going to happen to you. And so, what makes the connection between the slaves and Israel, between the slaves and Abraham, okay, which also between the slave descendants, which we are, and Israel and Abraham. Ladies and gentlemen, this picture you're looking at, this, okay? You see a boat and you see people with chain on their neck. Deuteronomy 28:68 tells the people, there God tell the people, if you disobey me, someday they are going to drag you in boat with a hook on your neck, taking you into slavery. Okay? Now, there is no other nation on earth that this ever happened to. Okay? There's no other nation on earth that this ever happened to but the Israelites. This punishment is a punishment that God reserved solely for Israel, solely for one type of sin, the rejection of God. God promised Israel, if you reject me, if you live like the Canaanite that I just got rid of to give you the land, if you live like them, then I was going to get rid of you too. That's why today there is barely any Israelis living in Israel today, even though God promised to bring all of us back. Even God promised to bring the people back someday. But as of today, they're not there. Contrary to popular belief, even to Christian belief, they're not there. All 12 tribes are still out. You see this type of punishment, even the United States, as one of the superpower in the world, cannot do this to the Cambodians, because God would not allow the United States to do this to the Cambodians, because this is the punishment reserved to Israel. God will not let Russia do this to the Iraqis, or China do this to the Mexicans, because this you're looking at, that's a punishment reserved only to Israelis, only to the true descendants of Abraham. And that's why at some point in history, in the 15th century, they were dragged this way into slavery in the Caribbean, in the United States, and elsewhere around the world. This punishment is solely reserved to the descendants of Abraham, to the people that Moses and Joshua helped entered the promised land. Okay, so the people during several occasions rejected God. We saw you saw the complaint of God in Jeremiah 5:19. You see how God complained that they used to serve foreign gods secretly while they were supposed to be serving God. Okay, now other example that we have, if you remember, when Jesus stood before Pilate, the people were pressuring Pilate to crucify Jesus. Pilate says, I questioned the man, I found him innocent. And besides, he says he's the king of the Jews. How can I kill the king of the Jews? The people said, we don't have any other king but Caesar. This is a type of rejection right there, in Jesus' face, standing there. Thirdly, when Pilate says, okay, normally I release a prisoner between Jesus and Barabbas. Who should I release? The people said, release Barabbas. Then Pilate says, so what do I do with Jesus, the Christ? They said, crucified him. And Pilate said, I see you forcing me to shed the blood of an innocent man. And the people express, if he's innocent, let his blood fall on us and on our children. There are, again, another form of rejection. They rather take the curse than receive and accept the true God, who left heaven and come down himself to introduce himself to the people, to his people. Okay, they rejected him. And God says the result of rejecting God is this. This is only reserved to Israel for rejecting God. Okay, so if your ancestors got to the country where you live or to the community that you are, in this fashion, they got the punishment, and today we should accept the identity. Okay? They got the punishment as slaves, and today, as their descendants, we should claim the identity. Whether we claim it or not, God already promised. God already promised that He's gonna keep his covenant with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, whether we want it or not. And I believe it's gonna be in dramatic fashion that God will bring the true descendants of Abraham to Israel, where they belong. And God says, they will then know that He is God. Okay? For His own sake, He's gonna do it. Whether we accept it, whether we agree with it or not. Okay? And it is clearly a plot against God's people, sending them into slavery. Um, um, if you follow history, you will see in 1492, Pope Alexander VI put out a decree that says everyone, he gave Portugal and Spain the blessings to enslave and colonialize and exile anyone who refused to convert into the Catholic religion. Okay, so in that same year, 1492, which is a very popular year. That's also the year that Christopher Columbus went in America, went in the Caribbean to explore the plantation fields where they were going to send the slave, pretending he came to discover America. Okay, I cannot come with a new invention if somebody's already invented it. If there are people there already, then you're not discovering nothing. There's already people there. The Indians were there. I cannot say, okay, I just invent the iPhone. Duh, the iPhone has already been invented by somebody else. Okay, so Christopher Columbus, pretending that he went in 1992 in America to discover America, he went to explore the plantation where they were going to send the slaves. Okay, in 1496, King Manuel I of Portugal put out a decree that says all Jews, okay, all Jews who refuse to convert into the religion of Catholic should leave the country. Okay, that was the decree that King Manuel the First put out in 1496. That decree kicked in 1497, and then look at this. In 1502, the first batch of slaves start landing in Haiti. Okay, 1502. Some people say 1505. The first slaves start entering Haiti. So what they did is that the king said, if you refuse to convert into Catholic, you have to leave the country. Since Israel is a black nation, they always feel okay to enter deeper into Africa. Whenever there's problem, they go hiding into Africa. They know they don't have any place, any country to go. Those 12 tribes have no place to go. They don't have countries. In 1496, 1497, they didn't have a country. But since they're a black nation, since they're black people, a black nation, it's always easy for them to go hide in Africa. Meanwhile, the Europeans already signed contract with Kingdom of Dahomey, which is Benin today, to kidnap all those Israelites, all those Jews who were coming, and that's how the Kingdom of Dahomey kidnapped those slaves, those Jewish citizens, and send them in, put them in boat sent them into slavery through the Atlantic Ocean. That's why they call this move the commerce, the transatlantic commerce, the slave trade, if you may. Okay, so there you have it. That in Psalm 83, verse 3 to 6, Psalmist David already prophesied on this trade. God said that they plotted against his people. They did this to wipe out the nation of Israel out of the face of the earth. Psalm 83, verse 3 to 6. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Our ancestors paid the price of rejecting God, okay? Because they are the true descendants of Abraham. You cannot get this punishment if you're not Israelis, okay? You cannot get this punishment if you were not people of God, if you were not the chosen of God, that you rejected God. In return, this is the punishment you get for rejecting God, okay? So clearly, the slave that they brought to the Caribbean were true Israelites. And that's where I'm going to stop because I think I proved my point. I complete the task that I said I was going to accomplish by showing you that the slaves, that the people that they brought to the Caribbean were the true Israelites, were the true descendants of Abraham. Until we meet again, may God bless you.